Just I thought about making this one of the topics to talk about later tonight when we go live. But I was like, well,
T3 Media.
maybe we want to talk about it now. Did you hear about it? Like the whole thing about how is it Brian Laundrie? How his family just started taking up helping with the search, and then boom, they find remains. Like the second they started helping him.
Well, the crazy thing is, because I know they found remains kind of in the same location they found, like right after they found some of his stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But they haven't, as far as I know, unless news has changed in the last like couple hours, they haven't identified them. But what's insane to me is they found like, I want to say like 5 or 6
video this Thursday
during this search. Like I feel like this whole case with Gabby Petito has really drawn attention to like how, because I feel like when it first hit, people were like, we're not trying to downplay how upsetting this is, but there is the thing we do in this country where like, you know, a pretty white woman goes missing and it's front page news, and as it should be, but there's a lot of people from marginalized communities who are not getting that.
People pointed out that there were people that went missing the same day. Yeah. That no one got attention for.
No one even talked about. And again, I'm not trying to downplay the tragedy of the Gabby Petito case, but also the fact that they found like several different human remains just in the search for Brian. Like, what is going on?
I think the thing that stood out the most was the fact that not only it was like a double-edged sword kind of thing, if that's even the right phrase for it, because it was like because her being an attractive white girl made the media give it more coverage, of course, but also at the same time her presumed killer, or you know, was that privilege that he was not being sought after as aggressively as people felt like that he should have in the beginning, was also a factor in it too. So it was like, people were like, I shouldn't cover it that much because other people went missing that same day, but at the same time, I gotta cover it because this dude seems like he's definitely the guy and he's getting away with it or something like that. And like so, it was weird.
Yeah, and I do feel like it instantly, and again, I mean, none of this is any disrespect to like the gravity of the case,
right,
or the tragedy of what happened to her, but like I feel like it was the combo of like, like you're saying, like entitled white dude, he takes off, the cops don't really search that hard, his parents are like it gave the narrative such a strong villain figure, and people, it's easier, especially on the internet, but it just in life, it is easier and like almost addicting to be angry. And that is easier to deal with than like sitting with just the tragedy of like a woman getting killed.
On the one,
and I feel like that is, I think you're totally right, of like people latched on to the like, how dare he, and as they rightfully should, but I think it's part of why people found this case
so weird and so interesting, I guess.
And like I think anger is just a more digestible emotion than like just sitting with like the weight and the tragedy of this, like to be able to jump to that of like, fuck this guy, how dare he, how dare this, and they're not wrong. But I think if it was just like, well, it's like when things happen that are just like a freak accident, which I'm not saying this is, but like if it turned out to be that, it's like I don't know if people would know how to process that. Like, we want a bad guy, we want to like, now I was sad, now I'm angry, because anger is like easier to deal with as a human emotion.
Do you think his parents are going to be indicted or looked into more aggressively? Because just for that simple fact that when it first began, like when he first came home and the police had him and, you know, knew where he was, and he first went to his parents' house, they immediately went to talk to my lawyer. Like it was pretty much, the cops were pretty much like, good afternoon, may I have, talk to my lawyer. That was, and they immediately lawyered up, but within the first hello. So it's like,
Which isn't
they have
honestly,
something to hide.
listen, if he wasn't guilty, that's still the right move. I feel like it was less even talk to my lawyer and more just we're not talking, which is part of the issue. Like,
which is
lawyering up
granted.
is not a crime. Lawyering up is exactly what you should do in that situation, because let's say he was blameless in this situation. Like, I would want a lawyer. I would want to make sure, I was covering my bases.
But then you but then you backdoor that with, well, in the beginning was the question was, or the statement was, hey, Gabby's missing. That's, what's going on? Talk to my lawyer. Okay. That's suspicious. Then it was, she's been gone for so long, and you waited like a week or so to even acknowledge it. Like, where you were the last person she was with. Talk to my lawyer. Okay.
Oh, it's morally fucked.
Yeah, morally,
but it's not illegal.
He did. I mean, yeah, like you said, like, and I tell people that all the time. I told my daughter when she got her license, the same thing I'll tell the rest of the kids. I said, if you get pulled over, I don't care if it's just running a stop sign. That whole thing where when a cop says you have the right to remain silent, that isn't just a thing that's true when you're being arrested. It's always true. You don't have, like, a cop told me that one time before. The thing that gets people in trouble the most is their own mouth. If they've
I've always heard,
rambling
honestly,
and rambling,
you lawyer up if you were in any kind of legal predicament.
There's reasons.
Because here's the thing, I don't know jack shit about the law. I don't know what to say. I don't know how to phrase things. I don't know how to, I don't know what makes me suddenly, culpable or whatever that would be. I'm not a lawyer, and lawyering up was not the issue. Like I said, morally, to me, it just became so instantly suspicious. And I think we talked about this a bit when the case first broke, of like, let's say, my boyfriend went missing, and I knew I had nothing to do with it, regardless.
Right.
No matter how much I'm like, this is going to I'd get a lawyer, sure.
Yeah.
But I would also instantly be like, I care about this person. My number one goal is, if I have information that is going to help, let's get him, found, if that is a possibility.
Yeah.
The fact that he was just like not talking, not telling anybody that she was gone, shady as hell.
Yeah. Are you watching this latest season of You?
No, I never watched You.
You never watched it? Okay, so I mean, just in case if you ever get into it, I won't say anything. So I'll skip over. But no, yeah, you're right. I mean, in most situations, especially when a couple is involved, cops usually go. I mean, because it's just the history of it. I mean, what's that saying? The simplest explanation is usually the best one, or the true one.
I mean, it's always the husband.
It's always the spouse, always the husband, or it's always the wife. And so because 9 times out of 10, most cases like this, murders and stuff like that, they happen by people that they know. So who's the closest person to this? They work their way. They start from the center, and then the cops pretty much work their way out. Like, who's the closest person to this victim? Then they work their way out. Let's eliminate these possibilities. The very first person was already acting shady as hell. I don't think they ever expanded the search even further than that. They never eliminated him as a suspect.
I can't think of a scenario where you're not guilty where you wouldn't at least be like, all right, we got in a fight and I left them, and now they've gone missing.
At least try to Dexter up and come up with a good excuse or something like that. Oh yeah, I caught her cheating. I left her there, bro. I don't care. like at least pretend like you got an alibi. I don't know. That's now I'm thinking about throw mama from the trains. Motives and alibis. So he wasn't doing himself any favors. And if you come up to episode 7, if you ever catch up to this will remind you. It's such a weird coincidence. But this, because obviously they completed this season before this all happened.
This is the new season that just came out?
Yeah, this is the latest season that just came out last Friday, and very similar situation. So that's all I'll say. And maybe oh good, Nala's ended the bath time. So cute cat cam is, I guess we'll call that. But I'll try to get her opinion.
Living her best life there.
The who?
She was just living her best life. She was going off.
She was determined to get that clean before taking and calling it a day.
Our supporters help make all this content possible, so make sure you check out our Patreon page so you can help us bring you the content you want.
Push the pedal to the freaking metal. I'm turned up just like heavy metal. Yo. Turned up on another level. Push the pedal to the freaking metal. I'm turned up just like heavy metal.